Welcome. On behalf of the entire Emids family of employees, clients, and partners, I welcome you to this one-of-a-kind summit experience. Although we're not in person, I hold hope this event will return in person next year. The recent news of the COVID vaccine is a positive step in a return to fellowship we all enjoy. Our thanks to the healthcare heroes that are creating that progress for us. As many of you know, Summit has always provided a rich dialogue on the transformation of healthcare. And like years prior, we try to up the fun factor a bit every year. Keeping in that spirit, we're honored to have one of the biggest country music acts in history, Luke Bryan, joining us this year. Luke was named the first ever recipient of the ACM Album of the Decade Award in his album Crash My Party, and wrapped the last 10 years as the most heard artist of the decade by Country Aircheck. He's released 24 #1 hits, 54 million RIAA digital singles, more than any other country music artist. In healthcare, we like our stats. Luke's are incredible. He's tallied 7 billion streams. That's billion, folks. 12 million albums sold, plus 4 platinum albums, 2 four-time platinum albums, 7 RIAA credited albums, 22 platinum singles, and 12 multi-platinum singles. That's a lot. He's recognized as the CMT Artist of the Year 6 consecutive times and was twice named Entertainer of the Year, both for ACM and the CMAs. Luke released his 7th studio album, Born Here, Live Here, Die Here, on August 7th, and will return for a 4th season as a judge on American Idol. So in short, he's big time. And he slammed. So we're so incredibly thankful that he's been able to carve out time and join us today. With that, Luke Bryan, we are thrilled to have you.
You know what? Those stats. I just love hearing those. It's funny. My wife never tells me those stats when I wake up in the morning. No, I'm playing, but yeah, you never realize. You're out here working hard and just staying busy. So anytime somebody kind of reads off some of these accomplishments, it's kind of mind-boggling. But what a great introduction, Mike. Thank you, and good to meet you. And thank you guys for having me. It's been an amazing year, an amazingly challenging year, but obviously it's been amazing for me to just really be at home so much. I mean, certainly miss being out there on the road and miss the normal stuff in life. But this year certainly has made me reflect on a lot of stuff I've missed while I was out there, compiling all those crazy stats you just brought up. But thank you guys for having me be a part of this, and to all the viewers out there. Just excited to be a part of this. Anytime I can do something that feels like work and entertainment, hey, I'm happy. So thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Well, we're excited. And I speak on behalf of this entire audience. We have a lot of people eager to ask you questions, and bless our hearts. We can't sing, but we are some inquisitive. So there's, as a reminder to the Summit audience, there's been a lot of questions that were submitted via video these past few weeks. And although we won't be able to get to all of them, we have plenty to run by you, Luke, and some that are going to be a lot of fun. So if you're ready, we'll kick off with the first question from Paige at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona. Take it away, Paige.
Hi, Luke. So many of the folks on this call are part of the healthcare community and are focused on mental well-being. So during this pandemic, what are you and your family doing to stay safe and well?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the main thing with us is my wife has been a trooper in hand washing and cleanliness around the house. And even, we've embraced, there's been a lot of back and forth, obviously, with mask wearing and stuff like that. I mean, I think the biggest thing when you have young boys is get them in a habit to where, when they leave the house, they gotta get in the habit of grabbing a mask, and we, even as adults, I mean, when you're a man, you leave the house, you get your wallet, you get your car keys, your cell phone, and then you get your mask. So, we just try to adapt to all of the guidelines that we've been hearing. And the main thing with us, when we quarantined, it was pretty, just a challenging event where we were trying to learn everything that was going on, learn how dangerous this was. And, I was, when you go to your children, we actually got quarantined down at our beach house. So when you we had my nephew who is 18, and he had several other 18-year-old boys with him. And then we had my young boys. When you go to them and really sit them down and be serious about it, they were really scared. And, we didn't hide the fact of how serious this was. So they really did a good job at following what we had asked them to do. And that was to really quarantine. I mean, we were at our beach house. We didn't know if these 18-year-old boys were trying to sneak out and go run down the beach, but they didn't. They minded me finally after all these years. But I'm sure so many families were the same way. And as we go on, as they're back in school, my boys, they had a boy, a buddy that they've been hanging out with that there was he had not felt well. So we actually held him home from school today. Stuff like that, just trying to be as proactive as you can, even how challenging this virus is when you don't necessarily have the symptoms. And when you have kids, I mean, they're rock and rolling, feeling good every day. So you have to really, really, we've been taking their temperatures every morning before they go to school. So you just have to watch how they're feeling.
Hey, Luke, it's Erin. First, let me say thank you for being the soundtrack to our time in Florida and our hanging out. We couldn't do it without you and your music, especially during these times. A quick question for you. What was your first big break?
Ooh, my first big break. I think all of your levels of entertainment, there's about 20 big breaks that have to go on to lead to the next. I mean, I really feel like the day I got offered my record deal from Capitol Records was certainly my first big break. I think you move to town, you move to Nashville with one thing on your mind, getting a record deal. So when you get that record deal and you can call your parents back home, and you could be that emotional about something. The day that I got my record deal, I called my parents and we were crying and very emotional. And that was definitely, I would say, the top of the list. But, fortunately in my career, I've had so many wonderful things that happen along the way that you could consider a big break to kind of take you to the next level. So it's definitely getting your record deal that day, the day that the president of Capitol Records, Mike Dungan, looked at me and said, "We'd like to offer you a record deal," is a very, very life-changing and gratifying.
Hey Lou, Kyle Armbruster here, CEO of Signify Health. And I'm curious, I've been going to Nashville for about 20 years now, and while it's a massive music city, it also happens to be one of the biggest healthcare cities in the country. Can you talk to me a little bit about how the music industry and the healthcare industry have worked together in such a large, growing, booming city?
Yeah, I think when you look at the success of what's going on, when you look at the success of what's going on in Nashville with music and healthcare and just the growth of the city, I think when you look at from charitable aspects, I mean, I think country music Nobody's done a better job in, I'm really proud of how the country music community partners with institutions like Vanderbilt. I mean, there's so many ways with the Children's Hospital and cancer research, and even my wife and I, our foundation, to work with Vanderbilt in a lot of ways on congenital heart defects, certainly pediatric congenital heart defects. But there's so many ways to, there's so many charity things through that one, I don't know all of the names of the big healthcare companies, but when they're having something that partners with getting a country music artist out, that we know we can raise money, bring awareness to something. It's pretty amazing watching the town of Nashville kind of come together. And my brother-in-law is in healthcare, and watching him be able to move to Nashville and to dive into healthcare. And he and I've worked together with music business stuff and charitable stuff. So there's so much of that stuff going on. I wish I could have even better tangible examples of stuff. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've worked with through the years. There's musicians on call that I've worked with. There's an organization called Brightstone that's just south of town that
that's a great org.
Yeah, Brightstone is great. I'm one of many, I'm one of many artists that are out there partnering up. I've been able to call other artists. Occasionally you'll have a kid at Vandy or really all of the hospitals around here, and they'll have a favorite artist. It won't be me, but I know how to get to that artist. And then, we're able to get that artist to the hospital to visit this kid. This is obviously certainly pre-COVID, but it's been amazing watching the marriage. Like I said, as Nashville grows, music and healthcare grow, and they grow together. And I think it's all about leaning on one another to make the city of Nashville even more of a special place.
Hey, Luke, this is Joan Harvey. I'm just interested in the backdrop behind Brett's Barn and a little bit about how your family supports this organization.
Yeah, so Brett's Barn was started when we had a niece. She was born, her name was Sadie Brett Boyer. And Brett, we knew that she had Down syndrome, and we knew that she had some, as a lot of Down syndrome children have, we knew that she had a hole in her heart and potentially some valve problems. And when she was born, my wife had promised her to have her a little barn and build and buy her a little white pony. And so after Brett was born, we knew that she required a surgery. And when the surgeons went in, what they discovered was very, very complicated. She had tons of problems, and one problem led to another, tons of kind of valve problems. And so after a long fight, a 4 to 5 month fight, we lost Brett, our niece. And so my wife and her brother and his wife, we kind of joined forces to start the Brett Boyer Foundation and Brett's Barn. And so that was, years ago. I don't want to get messed up with my dates, but since then we've been able to host families of cancer patients, other CHD kids, and let the families come out, let the kids play and see the animals. And it's been a pretty amazing experience. As simple as, a lot of times I've been in town and sometimes I haven't been in town. Like, I loaded up these boys that were battling cancer one day, and there was a bunch of mud on my farm, and I got in my Chevy pickup truck and just took a mud bogging and watching those boys have fun. And while I was doing that, the parents were having a little nice day off and out on a swing out on our farm. So we've been able to really, we've been able to host some really, really wonderful families. And we've gotten to watch children beat cancer and beat, congenital heart defects. And then we've obviously lost children through the years, and it's just been an amazing process. And we started the Redbird Games, where we do a big event at our farm, and we've been able to raise a lot of money for CHD awareness and stuff like that. So it's been an ongoing morphing of our foundation, but it's certainly, we're still in the infancy of it. And it's been amazing to watch the barn grow. Every time I go down there, my wife has bought some kind of new miniature animal or some kind of pig. So I promised my accountant to never look at the bills of what's going on down at Brett's barn. So, but it's pretty special stuff.
Hi Luke, I'm Marcus Osborne with Walmart. I'm interested to know, who are some of your top musical influences, either in country music or beyond?
Woo. Top, I'll rattle off a lot of my top country music influences, I would say, are Conway Twitty, the band Alabama, Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, Ronnie Millsap, Earl Thomas Conley, Clint Black was a big one. And then and then when you look at all forms of music, I mean, my mother was a Southern woman, so she loved Elvis. Therefore, I had a lot of Elvis in my household. Lionel Richie was a big influence for me. Obviously, Michael Jackson. Every kid loved Michael Jackson. But, being able to work beside Lionel Richie, one of my musical heroes, has been certainly one of the highlights of my career. Lionel's a special person.
Hey Luke, this is Jeff Gartland from just north of the Atlanta area. I had the unfortunate opportunity to grow up as a family friend to Ryan Seacrest, so I'm hoping you can give me a little bit of dirt on him. But my question is really, what's your favorite experience on American Idol?
Yeah, I'll, Ryan's very powerful around the ABC network, so I won't be giving up any dirt on Ryan. I need to keep my American Idol gig, but the beauty of American Idol is watching the kids walking the auditions and watching them, watching a star be born. I mean, nothing is more really inspiring and spiritual when we hear a kid that sings for the first time, and they come from these challenging backgrounds. I mean, there's no background that's the same. I mean, you never know where they're come from, how hard life has been for them, but then they have something special in their voice, and it's able to carry them through to facilitate them following their dreams, carrying out their dreams. And nothing is more fun to watch and try to mentor them through. And I've just loved every second of the American Idol experience. It's been fun watching the birth of stars.
Hey Luke, what's one of your favorite songs you've ever written and why?
Oh, one of my favorite songs I've ever written. Early in my career, I had a song called We Rode in Trucks that was my second single. It did not become a big hit, but definitely one of my favorite songs I've ever written. Certainly Good Directions that Billy Currington recorded. It was my first number one. I gotta be proud of Country Girl Shake It For Me as a song that I wrote. The song really, really put me on the map as an artist and changed the game. But, through the years, I've gotten to participate in writing a lot of songs that do different things for my career. But definitely those three songs that I mentioned there are very, very important to to where I'm at as an artist.
So I can't thank you enough, Luke, for your time today. We have a lot more questions that we can't unfortunately get to, but just know that you got a huge fan base out in the world, and you've got a devoted fan base in healthcare. You know, Luke alluded to some of the stuff that he's done locally in Nashville, and he's not just a community friend, he's a community hero. There's some folks that we work with daily at the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, so I'm thankful for all the stuff that you've done for our community. And Nashville is a great place because of people like you. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and kicking off our day tomorrow and at the awards tomorrow night, which is a big night for everybody. I want to thank each of you, those in the audience attending today, and who submitted. Special thanks to those who submitted the questions to Luke. A few items I want to make sure you're aware of, especially with the summit experience. One, utilize this time to make connections. Just because we're virtual, you know, we hold true the integrity of this event, and it is to make connections happen, ideally to innovate and make healthcare better for all of us. Just because we're virtual doesn't mean the bridge doesn't stop. So please leverage the technology you've got in front of you to make connections, and ideally we're going to better healthcare together. Make sure to check out tomorrow's agenda in the tab that's in the Summit Experience app that you'll see too. One highlight or one addition we have to tomorrow is we're going to replay the McKinsey Reimagine Healthcare panel that happened earlier today. There was some folks that were having some video issues, so we're going to replay that tomorrow. It's a great panel led by McKinsey. We had some executives from Anthem and other participate on it, so I think it's valuable. And one of the most important is the CMAs are tomorrow night. So make sure you tune into your local ABC station. I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Normally, this audience is in the arena itself. This year we're not. We're all going to be at home. But we've got a way that you guys can participate with the awards. In the app, you'll see the game that we've created. So it's got a little bit of fun to be paired with the CMA watching. We've got some country music trivia, some healthcare trivia. And for the winner, we actually will have a trip to Nashville next year where you will get a VIP experience, unlike any other. So I thank each of you for participating today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Mike.